Hello everyone, my name is Radio Mike and this is the Inside of My Mind, and today I want to talk all about the new Netflix special Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling, and how it deals with the problem of nostalgia in a commercial world. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so if you haven't heard of Rocko's Modern Life, it was a pretty absurd and well-loved cartoon from Nickelodeon in the 1990s that featured an anthropomorphic wallaby called Rocko, as well as his friends Heifer the steer and Filbert the turtle. From its art style, to its voice acting, to its content, Rocko's Modern Life was unapologetically 90s. The show ran for 4 seasons between 1993 and 1996 and lived into the late 90s and the early 2000s in syndication. So, unlike some of the other well-known Nicktoons of this era, such as the Rugrats, CatDog, Hey Arnold, or later shows like The Fairly Odd Parents, Rocko's Modern Life was slightly edgier in its content and comedy than most children's shows. Similar to The Simpsons, it was definitely a show that had layered humour and often had subtle and sometimes not subtle innuendo and adult-style comedy that would likely pass over the minds of younger viewers. For that reason, Rocko's Modern Life felt different to most other Nicktoons, which, while entertaining, certainly strayed toward a more child-friendly approach. I remember being a kid and watching Rocko after school and being able to recognise that this show was different. I was too young to understand what was so different about it, but I just knew there was something about this show that was going over my head. The show gathered a small cult following after it finished airing, although the series laid relatively dormant since it ended in 1996. Many of the staff on Rocko's Modern Life remained with Nickelodeon to create some other iconic Nicktoons, namely SpongeBob SquarePants and the Angry Beavers, although after Rocko, the series creator Joe Murray took a long break from animation. Fast forward to 2016, 20 years after the show's end, and Nickelodeon revealed they'd commissioned a 1-hour TV special of Rocko's Modern Life that would air in 2018. Eventually, the special, titled Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling, was picked up by Netflix and finally released on August 9th of 2019. And after watching this special, all I have to say is, you need to watch Static Cling. So what's the big deal about it anyway? Okay, so basically the premise of Static Cling is that Rocko and his buddies return to planet Earth after floating around in space for the last 20 years. Almost immediately upon landing back on Earth, Rocko notices that things aren't the same anymore, actually explicitly saying, "I don't think we're in the 90s anymore." And that immediately introduces the 2 key themes of Static Cling. First, the problems around nostalgia in a commercialised world, and second, the ways in which humans, or in this case anthropomorphic animals, try to fight and combat change in their lives. Rapidly, we get a look at the realities of the 21st century O-Town, which is a sweet reality check of the world we currently live in. The film offers commentary on the excessiveness of human consumerism and the means in which the global conglomerates take advantage of the human urge for the newest and best products in the market. Both Heifer and Filbert purchase an iPhone 8 and an iPhone 9 respectively, only to have the iPhone 10 be released midway through a conversation, which sees a swarm of people running into the shop to buy it. It's a dystopian take on the way we consume products in the 21st century. If you aren't up to the newest and the best technology, you're reflected poorly on. Not to mention the advertisement in the background here for the O-Watch with the caption, "Look like a tool." The commentary on human consumerism is expertly done here, highlighting our yearning for products that sometimes simply don't seem to have a purpose at all. Not only is consumerism critiqued in terms of technology, the film also looks at the way consumerism impacts our health. Townspeople are seen binging a brand new radioactive energy drink which is being marketed heavily on the streets. As they drink it, they begin to mutate and their appearances deteriorate, but they continue to enjoy the product. It's a reflection on our current society when products are being marketed as amazing, sexy, tasty, and popular and more. We purchase them even if the risks to our health are blatantly clear. It's a clear-cut dystopian look at how advertising has changed in the 21st century and how industries only care about profit as opposed to the well-being of their customers. Rocko's former job at a comic book shop has been made redundant by a robot who writes and sells the comics for him, a further futurist critique of a dystopian robotic future in which humans are left out of work due to automation of basic jobs. It's a sci-fi trope that's explored very subtly but makes its point very well. What kind of future are we building in the 21st century? Moving along in the film, we come to the core conflict of the show. Rocko isn't quite as sold on the 21st century as his friends. He wants things to go back to how they were, and he yearns for the past and to go back to the old days of the 90s. The film becomes a meta and self-referential film as Rocko strives to bring back his own favourite TV show from the 90s, The Fatheads, a show created by Ralph Bighead, the son of Rocko's neighbours. Mr. Bighead works for Conglomo, a literal representation of a business conglomerate whose company tagline is literally, "We still own you." At Conglomo, we see a sad reality of work in the modern age. Many low-level employees are seen slaving away for the CEO and executives who do next to no work. One employee claims he has no idea how his kids are. Mr. Fathead, a company executive and the big dog of the business, causes chaos around town, a critique of rich, wealthy people who exploit others and have little regard for the mental or physical health of any of their employees. At Conglomo, the only thing that matters is money for the people in charge. It's a sad reflection of workaholism in the 21st century, where with smartphones and constant communication and the rising price of living, people can rarely ever stop working. When raising the idea to Conglomo to bring back the Fatheads, the movie continues to critique the state of the modern entertainment industry. While Rocko wants to revive the show out of his own passion and fandom, Mr. Fathead sees the revival as an opportunity to make money. He realizes that by capitalizing on the nostalgia people have for the past, he can rake in a lot of money and save his company. And this is a pretty good reflection of Hollywood today. Even the top 5 highest grossing films of 2019 are all based on existing properties. In fact, the entire industry now is full of reboots, sequels, remakes, spin-offs, and character cameos in order to satisfy the nostalgia of fans. Just look at this clip from the trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Instead of opting to surprise fans during the movie with the appearance of the Millennium Falcon and legacy characters like Han Solo and Chewbacca, they choose to include them in the trailer to tempt viewers and fans and lure them into cinemas to make as much money as possible. If those two characters weren't in the trailer, old fans might not expect to see them in the film and therefore might not be interested. Fellow cartoon South Park expertly examines this in their 20th season through the use of member berries. The member berries frequently bring up nostalgic scenes in a satirical look at modern cinema. The movie looks at the problem with nostalgia in a commercial world. Rocko just wants his show back as it was, but executive meddling leads to an awful remake that lacks involvement from the original creator, disappointing Rocko. The entire movie feels like a commentary from the creator who argues that even slight changes disappoint fans who can't move on from their nostalgia and view something a little bit different. Perhaps the most stark example of change being embraced in the film is when Rocko finally tracks down Ralph, who now goes by Rachel. Rachel claims she's moved on from the show and wants to explore a new life, but when realizing her parents and family miss her, decides to return home. Despite this, her own change is not accepted by her father. Eventually, Rachel remakes the Fatheads but features a brand new character, which again disappoints Rocko, who claims that the show being different and having a new character means that it isn't the same as what it once was. Despite this, he's told to embrace the change and learn to live with it. And Mr. Fathead comes to accept Rachel and the two embrace. Rachel is probably the only character in the film that discovers herself and feels extremely comfortable about her own change. The other characters, particularly Rocko, struggle to embrace the changes of the 21st century, as well as the basic changes to the Fatheads revival. Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling is an expertly crafted short films about the perils of modern life and the 21st century, as well as the state of popular culture and the problems with nostalgia in a commercial world. Its meta and self-referential attitude seems to be very, very telling of Joe Murray's perception of the current entertainment industry. And he seems to have used this film to make a self-referential point. Change in life is inevitable. All of your favourite shows and everything you enjoy will eventually end, and that's a sad and sometimes harrowing reality of life. But if you learn to embrace and accept that change is inevitable, then sometimes you might find that it's not so bad after all. you need to watch Rocko's Modern Life, The Static Cling. So what did you think of The Static Cling? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos on gaming and TV and all things pop culture. You can also check out my podcast 20th Century Boy, which comes out weekly, and it's available on my YouTube channel every week or on iTunes or Spotify. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name has been Radio Mike, and this has been The Inside of My Mind. See you later.